The desert doesn't care about your plans. It doesn't care about your GPS, your water supply, or the fact that you promised your sister you'd be home for her wedding in 3 days. Dr. Marcus Webb learned this the hard way when his rental Jeep broke down 70 miles from anywhere that mattered, and he made the catastrophic decision to walk toward what he thought was civilization. 6 hours later, delirious from heat and dehydration, he collapsed near a cluster of ancient red rocks, certain he was about to become another cautionary tale about the American Southwest. He woke to the sensation of cool water on his cracked lips and the blurred image of a woman's face framed by the blazing sun. For a moment, in his confusion, he thought he'd died and gone somewhere unexpected. But the ache in his muscles and the grit between his teeth told him he was very much alive. As his vision cleared, Marcus found himself staring up at a woman unlike anyone he'd ever seen, fierce dark eyes, weathered skin that spoke of years under the open sky, and an expression that mixed curiosity with something far more calculating. "You're awake," she said in perfect English, though her accent carried the weight of another language beneath it. "Good. You'll need your strength for the journey." Before Marcus could ask what journey, he realized he wasn't alone with this woman. At least 20 others surrounded him, all women, all armed with an eclectic mix of modern rifles and traditional weapons. They wore a fusion of contemporary hiking gear and clothing adorned with turquoise, silver, and intricate beadwork that marked them as connected to something ancient, something preserved. "Who are you?" Marcus croaked, his anthropologist's mind already racing through possibilities even as his body screamed in protest. "We are the last," the woman replied, helping him to sit up. "The daughters of daughters of daughters who refused to disappear. I am Kai, and you, Dr. Webb, are coming with us." The fact that she knew his name sent a chill down his spine despite the desert heat. The journey to their settlement took 2 days on foot through terrain that seemed designed to remain hidden. Marcus, still weak and now a captive, had no choice but to follow. The women moved with practiced efficiency, speaking in a language he recognized from his graduate studies as an Apache dialect, though different somehow, preserved in a way that modern linguistics couldn't quite capture. They fed him, gave him water, treated him with neither cruelty nor particular kindness, he was simply a problem they were solving. The settlement, when they finally arrived, took Marcus's breath away. Hidden in a canyon system that appeared on no map he'd ever seen, it was a thriving community of perhaps 300 people, nearly all women and children. Adobe structures blended seamlessly with ancient cliff dwellings, solar panels sat alongside traditional cooking fires, and everywhere he looked, he saw the careful balance between preservation and adaptation. They brought him before their queen. Queen Nazcha sat on a simple wooden chair that somehow carried more authority than any throne Marcus had seen in museums. She was perhaps 60, with silver streaking through her long black hair and eyes that seemed to read not just his face but his entire history. The council of elders flanked her, all women who regarded Marcus with expressions ranging from suspicion to something that looked almost like pity. Dr. Marcus Webb, Nazcha spoke in English, her voice carrying easily through the assembled crowd. Anthropologist, specializing in indigenous survival and cultural preservation. Published 3 papers on tribal sovereignty. Unmarried. No children. Currently on sabbatical, supposedly writing a book about lost histories. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "We are not a lost history, Dr. Webb. We are a deliberate absence." Marcus's mouth went dry. "I don't understand. Why am I here?" "Because the desert brought you to us," Nazcha replied. "And because we need you." Over the next 3 days, Marcus learned the impossible truth. This community was the remnant of several Apache bands who had refused assimilation, refused the reservations, refused to let their culture be categorized and museumified. For over a century, they had maintained their existence in secret, moving when necessary, taking in women who sought refuge, and preserving knowledge that the outside world considered extinct. But they had a problem, one that threatened everything they'd built. "We are dying out," Kai explained to him on the 3rd evening, her earlier sternness softened slightly. "Not from disease or violence, but from genetics. Too small a population for too long. The children born here in the last 20 years, too many have genetic disorders. Our medicine women have the knowledge, but not the solution. We need genetic diversity, Dr. Webb. We need it desperately. And you chose me because I wandered into the desert? Marcus asked incredulously. We chose you because for 3 years we've been watching. Nazca's voice came from behind him. He turned to find the queen approaching, her bearing regal even in simple cotton and denim. We've observed those who come to study us, who write about us, who claim to respect indigenous knowledge while taking what they want and leaving. You were different. Your papers argued for true sovereignty, for the right of peoples to exist outside the systems that tried to destroy them. You understood that survival sometimes means invisibility. She stopped directly in front of him, her gaze unflinching. I have 15 grandchildren, Dr. Webb. 6 have serious health conditions. My daughter's latest baby died 3 days after birth. We have reached the point where pride must yield to survival. The council has voted. I am to bear one more child, a child with genetics from outside our small pool. I am asking you to father that child. Marcus felt the world tilt. You're asking me to, Queen Nazca, you're asking something impossible. The ethics alone. Ethics? Nazca's eyes flashed. Was it ethical to march us across deserts? To forbid our language, our ceremonies, our very existence? We are asking you to help us survive, Dr. Webb. Not as a conqueror or a colonizer, but as a partner in preservation. And yes, we are asking you to stay, to become part of what you've spent your life studying from a distance. That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. He lay in the small room they'd given him, staring at the stars visible through the window, his mind churning. Everything in his training, his ethics, his understanding of appropriate boundaries screamed that this was wrong. He was a researcher, an observer, not a participant. And yet, he thought about his sister's wedding, about his tiny apartment in Boston, about the university politics and the grants and the conferences where he spoke about indigenous peoples in the past tense while communities struggled in the present. He thought about his book, the one he'd claimed would give voice to the voiceless, written by someone who'd never truly risked anything. And he thought about Queen Nazca's eyes when she spoke of her grandchildren. In the morning, Marcus asked to speak with the council. They assembled in the same ceremonial space, their faces impassive as he stood before them. I have conditions, he said, his voice steadier than he felt. First, I need to understand, is this truly what you want, Queen Nazca? Not as a ruler, but as a woman. Because consent, real consent, has to be the foundation of anything we do. For the first time since he'd arrived, Nazca smiled genuinely. You ask the right question. Yes, Dr. Webb. I have mourned the loss of grandchildren. I have held dying babies and felt my own body's capacity fade. If I can bring one more healthy child into this world, one more continuation of our line, I choose that freely. But I need to know, can you stay? Can you commit not just to conception, but to being part of this child's life, this community's life? Marcus took a deep breath. I can't stay forever, I have obligations, a life. But I can stay for a year. Maybe more. I can teach what I know, learn what you're willing to share. I can help document your medical needs, connect you confidentially with resources. And I can be this child's father, truly, not just biologically. If you'll have me as part of your community. The council members exchanged glances. Finally, Kai spoke. You understand that you can never reveal our location, our existence. That this knowledge dies with you. I understand that some stories aren't mine to tell, Marcus replied. And that the most important work I might ever do is the work that will never appear in any publication. What happened in the following months transformed Marcus in ways he couldn't have imagined. He became a student again, learning from medicine women about plant knowledge that would astound ethnobotanists, sitting with elders who taught him a worldview where time moved in circles rather than lines, and working alongside the younger women who managed the community's delicate balance between isolation and survival. Nazcha, despite their unusual arrangement, became a friend.